On a time, in a small town nestled in the countryside, there lived a young woman named Sarah. Sarah was kind-hearted and gentle, with a smile that could brighten even the cloudiest of days. She worked at the local bookstore, surrounded by shelves filled with stories waiting to be discovered. Across town, in a cozy bakery with the sweetest aroma of freshly baked bread, lived a young man named David. David had a passion for baking and spent his days creating delicious treats that warmed the hearts of the townsfolk. One sunny morning, Sarah walked into the bakery, drawn by the irresistible scent of cinnamon and sugar. As she entered, her eyes met David's, and in that moment, something magical happened. It was as though time stood still as they exchanged a shy smile. "Hello," David said, his voice soft and warm like a gentle breeze. "Hi," Sarah replied, feeling her cheeks flush with warmth. From that day on, Sarah found herself visiting the bakery more often, drawn not just by the delicious pastries, but by the charming baker who had captured her heart. David, too, looked forward to Sarah's visits, his heart skipping a beat whenever she walked through the door. One afternoon, as Sarah sat at a small table in the corner of the bakery, sipping on a cup of tea, David approached her with a freshly baked apple pie. "I made this for you," he said, his eyes sparkling with excitement. Sarah's heart fluttered with joy as she took a bite of the warm, flaky pie. It was the most delicious thing she had ever tasted, made even sweeter by the love that David had poured into it. As the days turned into weeks, Sarah and David's love blossomed like a beautiful spring flower. They spent hours talking and laughing, sharing stories of their childhoods and dreams for the future. Sarah introduced David to her favorite books, and David taught Sarah how to bake the perfect loaf of bread. One evening, as they sat together on a blanket beneath a sky filled with twinkling stars, David took Sarah's hand in his. "I love you," he said, his voice filled with emotion. "I love you too," Sarah replied, her heart overflowing with happiness. And so, Sarah and David's love story began, a tale of two kindred spirits brought together by fate and a shared love of pastries and books. They spent their days exploring the town hand in hand, creating new memories with each passing moment. One bright summer day, as they walked through a sunflower field, David knelt down on one knee, a small box in his hand. "Sarah, will you marry me?" he asked, his eyes shining with love. Tears of joy streamed down Sarah's cheeks as she nodded, her heart bursting with love for the man who had stolen her heart. And so, on a beautiful autumn day, surrounded by friends, family, and the scent of freshly baked bread, Sarah and David exchanged vows and promised to spend the rest of their lives together. As they danced under the twinkling lights, Sarah whispered in David's ear, "I never knew love could be so sweet." David pulled her closer, his heart overflowing with love. "And I never knew I could be so happy," he whispered back. And so, Sarah and David's love story continued, a beautiful journey filled with laughter, love, and the sweetest of moments. As they walked hand in hand into the sunset, they knew that they had found their happily ever after.